we're going to take a look at a macOS utility that can be used to give you a lot of information about wireless networks that are in your area. This one is actually called Wi-Fi Explorer. And what it does is it looks for all of the wireless networks that are broadcasting in your area and then provides a really useful way of looking at that information really quickly. So we've got the network name. Let me just bring this over here. We've got the BSSID, or the base service set identifier. I've got the name of the vendor, which of course we can determine from the BSSID, which is the MAC address. And the first three of these is the organizationally unique identifier, or OUI, and that gives us the vendor name because each vendor has their own OUI there. I've also got the signal strength for this particular SSID, the channel that it's broadcasting on, the width of that channel, the band or the frequency range. That's a 2.4 gigahertz. And down here, we've actually got one that's 5 gigahertz. I can tell you the mode. This is N. We've got some here that are multi-mode. So I've got B, G, and N. This one happens to be A and N. There's another that's A and N down here as well. And of course, I've got the maximum throughput rate and the last time that they were seen on the network. Now, the longer you run this, the more you'll see variations, and the last seen dates will actually change as networks come on and offline, unless you've only got a couple of networks and they're just there all of the time. But you may see these, particularly with lower rate networks or ones with a really low signal strength. They may kind of drift in and out as you get the signal and then you lose the signal. So you may see some of those drift in and out. Now I can select one of these and I can get my network details down below. Of course, it breaks it out nicely for us. It tells us the encryption is AES plus TKIP. My security mode is WPA2 personal. It's an infrastructure network. And then I've got another tab here for signal strength. So I've got a graph of the signal strength for all of the different networks. And of course, it highlights the particular network that I am looking at. Now we've got the different channels. Again, this shows us everything. And we can see that the network that we were just looking at here is actually a little bit harder to find with all of the other networks available. And then I've got advanced details. And of course, it pulls this out from the radio traffic that we can take a look at if we were to actually do a packet capture. We'd be able to see all of this, but it breaks it out really nicely for us. Tells us the service set identifier, the supported rates, and then, of course, we've got the extended supported rates as well. And we've got some vendor-specific information, the Wi-Fi protected setup. We've got Wi-Fi protected access information. And of course, I can pop any of these open. You can see the actual details of all of these and how it gets that specific information. Again, it's coming from the radio traffic that we'll actually take a look at in a little bit more detail coming up. So this is a really good utility if you're running macOS. For other operating systems, there are other utilities that will do similar things. We will certainly take a look at some of those as well. But this is a really good one for macOS that gives us all of the details broken out in a really easy to read fashion in a way that we can drill down into more specific information as we need to.